Hello, everybody. We're back here tonight at Chupacabra Games with our coverage on our Pioneer local. As always, I am your frequent Pioneer host, Robert Brinker, also known as Jam Stoneforge on Twitter. And I'm here with the man who's been joining me every week, and it seems like it's going to forever, Nick Peterson.
Yeah, my name is Nick Peterson, and in the process of creating a Twitter.
Oh, shit. You've lost your mind. You've finally descended to join the rest of us. So it looks like we've got, for our first match here tonight, we've got Caleb on I'm Not Sure What, and I Can't Really Tell, versus Will, who had been playing Winota until that for him, unfortunate Winota ban last week. And right now he's on Bant No-Co. He was trying to get his hands on some Cocos before we started to be able to throw Cocos up in this deck, but
unfortunately
ended up
no
not.
one had a spare play set.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and get that prediction started for for that.
Looks like Caleb's on a red deck of some sort.
Maybe burn.
Could be burn. Could be mid range. The Mountain Start no spell.
He plays that stupid Fires Invention like.
Yeah. Okay. We've been informed that Caleb is on mono red fires. I don't know what the fuck that means, but do you?
Not entirely. It's not a super well represented.
Right. You want to fucking tell us then?
So it plays.
James don't care.
No, it plays like Karn, Chandra, Torch Defiance, stuff like that.
Okay. Oh, so it's just like mono red planeswalkers?
And then like the Red Cavalier and stuff.
It seems like a big red stuff.
Okay, so it's just big. Okay, that makes sense. Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, looks like Caleb had that stomp for Will's turn one dork.
Yeah, he did get it a turn after though, because he again had to get to 2 mana, and looks like Will had the draw. If Will wasn't sure what he was on, when he plays Mountain, doesn't kill the dork, and has no 1-drop play, you pretty much have to think he's not on mono red aggro. So he is on fires, which we do know. It's like he's playing a Brutal Cathar and going to take a. He looks like he's got the showcase one. Looks like we're using a black and white sleeve to determine white night and day.
I mean, if it ain't broke, it works. So I guess go ahead, right?
Nice. So this is where Caleb wants to just go land, commit the Fires of Inventions for a deck like this. I will say, if Will's on any copies of Night of Autumn, as he's just a Bant creature style deck, Night of Autumn will be pretty good in getting this matchup. It looks like we used to light up the night. Will opting to sacrifice his selfless spirit instead of losing his whole board. Again, that would give back the 4/3. You really don't want that.
What does light up the night do?
It's the card we have
right here. I'm so good at looking.
It's just a pay X and deal X plus 1.
Okay.
To target creature or planeswalker.
Oh, it's fireball, but you can also it's fireball, but if it goes at a creature or planeswalker, it hits her.
Yep.
Cool. Hey, there's that fires that Caleb's deck is named after. And we get to free cast some stuff. Looks like we'll start with a Golos here.
I'm considering what the Cascading Cataracts does. If he's running Golos, he gets to set up. I get that he gets it with Golos, but I'm considering what.
I mean, I think it's just Golos, right?
I was hoping for some more shenanigans out of it, but it might just be Golos. Let's see, that's 2 spells. We go back to day. He then gets to eat another card.
Yeah, looks like Yep, there we go.
That's a big concern for the Fires deck, because Will can kind of just sit here. As long as he doesn't have a removal board, Will can kind of just sit here and not play stuff on his own turn.
Yeah.
And just flip back. Ooh, he's got the Skyclave apparition. Really rough for Caleb here.
I think I would rather just take the fires as opposed to letting it flip, taking the option to have it flip back, so.
Yeah, the Skyclave is a really good pickup for Will there. Getting a really pivotal card. Is that a Field of Ruin Caleb's got in play?
Yes. That is the Crimson Vow Midnight Hunt version.
Oh, another fire. So at least he's got 2.
Fire right back. And oh
Buys
man,
2 creatures.
that's big. That's big.
So Brucathar is really good because you can pick up multiple creatures with it, but it's also kind of upsetting when those creatures come back when he inevitably gets removed from the deck that has a million bolt effects.
Yeah, that is an O-ring. It does. They do. It's not Skyclave. They do come back.
Is that a Dwarven Mine you just went for?
Ye-
It's a 1/1.
no, because it didn't enter untapped. But it's also definitely not a dwarven mine. I think it's just a mount. I think maybe it is a dwarven mine.
It looks
Either way, he doesn't get
the guy.
because it entered tapped off of the Golos. It might be that he doesn't have enough other mountains and he doesn't want his dwarven mine. He doesn't want to like hit the dwarven mine. He would rather just like increase the number of lands and having it come in tapped is fine.
Okay.
Um,
That's Thalia on a will. It's not looking too good. Him not having Cocos is kind of a bad start for him here. It's like in these scenarios how you get back in the game. He's kind of pretty far behind the 8 ball here.
yeah, I think not having the ability to take that fires again is
Trying the Great Creator is probably a nightmare scenario. He might just go find a God Pharaoh statue and just put it into play for a second spell.
so he'd be a mana short. Statue is 6, and Thalia is in play, so it costs 7.
You cast it for free off of fires.
Oh, right, so it's 1.
Yeah.
Right. He literally just cast the card for free. Well, for 1. So he cast it for 1.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that
I
kind of
smart.
puts Will 1 card a turn, almost exclusively. I can't imagine too many turns where he'd have 2 cards a turn with that in play. And is a pretty reasonable clock to deal with it. Looks like he just goes for the Skyship Sovereign. I don't hate it.
Maybe he doesn't have the.
Yeah, if he doesn't have the God Pharaoh statue, I guess also just buying a 4/4 makes your clock a lot faster because you just get a 4/4 out of this exchange.
And you can just crew the ship with effectively crew the ship with Karn every turn
Yeah,
to
clear his creatures.
yeah. This is not looking
like-
good for our hero.
I typically in this scenario want to go to my next game. But who knows? Maybe Will has some good interaction here. All right, looks like he's got something.
Okay.
And John go because it goes 1 less from
Yeah, and he doesn't take any damage off the
because yep,
because it's not a spell.
it's the activate ability of the land. Breeding pool. Okay, so we're now finally seeing the band. Maybe he's got some like Reflector Mage shenanigans lined up.
I know for a fact he does run a Reflector Mage. I got to look through his deck beforehand.
Oh, looks like a Ledger Shredder. Interesting deck choices here. Oh, another Skyclave.
Yes,
there's
there's
Knives.
Reflector Mages. I think.
Ooh, he's got Spell Piercings, huh?
Yeah. He also is running main deck Asika's Chariots. Because he didn't have anything else to put in place of the Coco. So he decided to go with
Put the Karn in the graveyard there and not the Exile. I
Don't
more
know
than
that
likely won't matter, but it is a notable.
Yeah. Send a message to our.
Um,
All right. Looks like he's tanking here.
yeah, he didn't look like he uptick revealed land off of Chandra.
Okay, you can't play lands, right? So it's just always 2 damage.
Yeah, he's gonna
Oh.
field probably the blue source.
Yeah.
See if he's got an island in his deck.
Think he doesn't. I don't remember. I didn't like super.
It did look like he put an island down. It's kind of hard where
May
it's
well have
currently
been.
placed.
Yeah, we were fortunately able to figure out a solution to the glare on the side, the graveyard on the far side, but that does mean now the glare has moved to the middle of the table.
Looks like it's a
I think
plains.
it's a plains, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's the Kamigawa Plains.
Yeah, it is because the Kamigawa plains are the ones that go super far down for no apparent reason because they're represented by 2 symbols in kanji instead of just 1.
So not looking too good for Will here. Just making him 4 force.
Yeah, that boat's gonna, especially with those 4/4s, are gonna keep doing the boat thing.
Looks like he's trying to cut him off colored
It
sources.
just flipped to night for some reason.
It looks like Caleb all he did was activate Fields on his turn and activate Chandra.
Oh, that's what happened. I don't know. I just so many things happened there. I was like, there has to have been a thing. Mono red fires. The boat. So Will's at 6. If you're Caleb, do you just like should you have just like swung with that 4/4 just to like take one of your opponent's creatures off the board?
Wow, Caleb taking the blast zone up to 2 is really bad for. I think he just knows he gets lethal here because he just untaps in the blast zone.
So you just don't give up the 4/4 for no reason.
Yeah, because he just clears all of his creatures here.
Yeah, and it looks yep. Will was waiting for him to say something about it, and he did. So
It's hard to beat that from Will's start. Will didn't have a particularly aggressive start, and then his answers for the fires kind of just made 4/4s for his opponent, which
yeah,
it's kind of rough for him.
not really where you want to be as the tempo deck.
Yeah.
So I saw Will's sideboard, and I know he has 2 copies of Archon of Emeria, 2 copies of Lavinia, Azorius Renegade. I think Lavinia specifically will be huge.
Oh yeah.
Here.
Turns off fires I mentioned.
Yeah.
Turns off him casting pretty much entirely, other than with his regular mana.
Yep. And then Archon will also shut down
The second spell.
double spell, which will help him attempt to keep parity. Although not having the Cocos will mean it's a lot harder for him to pull ahead, but
I also, funnily enough, it also turns off the ability for Dwarven Mind to make a dwarf.
because it will always enter tapped.
Correct.
Yeah. When Mystic Sanctuary was still legal in Modern, vialing in a Archon of Emeria
It was sponsored
or
by
a Thalia Heretic Cathar.
Yeah.
It was mostly Thalia Heretic Cathar. Was in response to my opponent fetching and obviously going to go get Mystic Sanctuary was very funny. They'd be like, I'm gonna go, they'd just be like, fetch, go get Mystic Sanctuary, do a thing. And I'm like, all right, thank you for giving me this free information. Before you fetch, I have a fix. And you're like, what? Like, Thalia. And then they're like, okay. And then they'd be like, haha, put it in play anyway. Get the thing. And I'm like, no, that says untapped, my guy. It has to come in untapped. Since Thalia say no, get untapped.
That card would be a lot more ridiculous if on turn 1 you could just like get pro, put it back on top.
No, they were thinking, so like the one time I had that happen, my opponent was thinking that if they met the 3, they got the thing and it would come in untapped, when it's like, no, it has to come in untapped. So like if you have an this is only relevant for Commander, but there's a card from the first Commander Legends set that makes permanents enter tapped or untapped based on whether or not he is tapped or untapped.
Oh, the turtle?
Yeah, the turtle. Archelos, I think is his
Yeah.
name.
That works
If he is if you somehow show and tell him into play, and then the first land you play for the game is a Mystic Sanctuary, you could put the show and tell back on top of your deck.
That's pretty funny.
Or whatever you have in your graveyard. So yeah. Yes, it is very funny.
Turn 2 Thalia.
Because those are 2 separate lines of text, which is
Thalia on curve here is probably really good against Caleb because it looked like his removal spells were Bone Crusher Giant, which now minimum comes down turn 3. So his turn 3 is tempoed by this Thalia. Ooh, and now if he has Bone Crusher, he could take it out of his hand, and he's pretty far off doing anything for a while.
So I have a question. Does that Citadel indicate to you that Caleb is playing Cleansing Wildfire?
I was thinking that with the Cascading Cataracts. I was considering that as a
Okay.
possibility because that's an also
Right, it is also indestructible. Yes.
That's why I was thinking of all the things you can be doing with Cascading other than just like the niche I can activate Golos now thing you can do with it.
It is the 14th, right?
Correct. So Caleb's got double Bone Crusher. Oh, triple Bone Crusher.
Wow.
So-
Well, I mean, one good thing about Elite Spellbinder is it doesn't matter if he's still in play. PVDDR still makes your card go away. Well, cost more.
Yeah, no matter what, it always costs more.
Yes.
And number comes back. I'm thinking you take the fires here. Like you take the unique effect out of the hand that like lets this deck function instead of Is that Anger of the Gods that he's got there?
It
Under those?
might be. No, that's a.
Oh, it's that one.
Valakut the Stoneforge. So it's Stoneforge. Well, on the back it is. It's Stoneforge Awakening or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's the put any number of cards in the bottom of your library, draw that many.
Yeah, you really hate to see this out of Will though, because I feel like in his position, he wants to just catch his one Bone Crusher out of his hand to essentially just put Caleb back a bunch of turns. But having 3 Bone Crushers in this position makes it so he pretty much just full of Bone Crushers.
I mean, you know for a fact that your opponent's not crushing bone next, or like not gonna stomp you next turn. Interesting. So Caleb can stomp the Thalia to be able to play the Bone Crusher the following turn, or to be able to play the Fires the following.
If he draws
turn.
double
If
land.
he draws
land.
one land.
Yeah, 1 land.
He has to draw a land.
And the Valakut actually represents a land.
Oh yeah, but it's tapped either way. So either Caleb has to take a turn off of either Caleb and they play it. So you can still play lands also off of it, which is
So-
I think I would not take the
Considerably, it says non-land. Does it count for non-land? Does it count for both sides when you're looking at it in hand?
If the card any effect that looks at or selects a specific card type only looks at the front face of MDFCs.
Okay.
So the fact that it's a land on the back is completely irrelevant.
Okay. It looked like he was
but it
selecting
would-
it and then they went back.
It would allow Caleb would have been able to play the land half because it says play on Spellbinder. So Caleb could play the land half. It would come in tapped still, but he could play the land and end up with and like, he would effectively not have lost a card, which I think is why Will elected to not take the Valakut there. I think our players were probably discussing whether or not that was how that worked. I should check and see if maybe I had a message about that. I did not. Okay, cool.
Legislator Thalia. So second copy of Thalia is pretty good here. Kind of locks Caleb into stomping again.
Yeah, because otherwise, even with that land that we can see there, he doesn't have Fire's mana.
So I think he just runs back the exact same turn, except play land, stomp, pass.
It's interesting. So if I'm Caleb, my opponent just discarded an answer to the Fires he knows I have in hand. How terrified should I be?
I think you can consider that after how it went last game, how he knows he has a bunch of stomps. Taking the Fires here might not be what he wants to do because he knows he's just going to give him back a 4/4 in exchange.
Yeah, sure, that's fair.
So he's just trying to like have better card quality. I think
Okay.
That's what he's doing.
Okay. Follow-up question.
Yeah.
Why do you think Caleb has the Bone Crusher off to where it is?
Which one?
I forgot he had Aether Gust. So he has that other Bone Crusher that got
That
taken
one-
by the PVDR, like way off to the side.
I think he's just trying to distinguish the difference between his on adventure Bone Crushers and his 2 extra mana Bone Crusher that can still stop.
Yeah.
Just so it's looks like we stuck a Nascus Chariot here.
Oh, neat.
This is our Coco replacement, which is
One of them. We were going to only go up to 3 Coco if I had them on me. He was going to cut the 2 Asika's Chariots he's got and one of his 3 Spell Pierces.
Mm.
So, all right. So Caleb slamming this Fires again.
He can't play actually a non-creature spell here because it still costs 1 more.
Fires still lets you play out of other places, right? Like Fires would still let you cast the Bone Crushers if you wanted.
I believe so.
I can pull it up if I want. Scryfall. All right, so we have the fixed Fires on our screen because for some stupid reason there's a fixed Fires. Cast spells. Yeah, it doesn't limit you to just from your hand. And it looks like our match is over already. I assume.
I'm assuming Caleb.
Oh yeah, so we can see at the bottom here, Will took down. Will was able to take down.
Yeah,
The pressure was just enough there.
yeah. I think he played the Golos and didn't have much to stop the Escus Chariot 2
Even better when they read the chat.
Thank you for all the compliments, guys.
He doesn't really pay attention to chat. It's branded. Oh, it's branded.
Oh, come on, Brandon. You don't got to do me like that.
Yeah, you do. Keep making fun of Nick, please. It's funny.
All right, so we're going to game number 3. Caleb's on the draw. I think this is a much better scenario for Caleb.
I mean, yeah, you could just take the fire soon. You can stomp Thalia.
Yeah.
Wait, no, you can't stomp Thalia.
You actually can on your 3 still, the turn after he plays it.
Yeah.
But
But you don't get to then. Well, I guess. Yeah, you
You're
just
still
like
doing it on
don't
the same
kill it.
time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you just don't kill until his end step, and then you. Although we're seeing the mulligan here out of the combo deck. I think it's a combo deck, right? It's just that 4 of the cards in its deck combo with every other card in its deck. It's like Legacy Sneak and Show. Bias indeed.
well, leading on the Cascading Cataracts. It's probably not the best land to lead on the mono red mono red deck just because it doesn't make any mana.
I mean, your opponent's not gonna Field of Ruin you on turn 3.
Got the dork start. It's a good start. Probably get doesn't even see the stomp on the dork, so he gets access to 3 mana this turn.
Isn't gonna be making use of it though.
Nope, he's just doing the Thalia.
So we can and then get in for the 1 probably.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to gotcha his Bone Crusher for another turn. Caleb maybe considering to now stomp the thing before the Thalia actually enters. I think he opted to not if that's what he's on. He's gonna play another mountain and pass it back. So he's playing the Bant Triumph tapped, swinging in for 2. So it's pretty telling. Caleb probably doesn't have a stomp there if he's taking that, unless he draws his card. So 3 mana. Gonna play a Fable of Mirror Breaker. That costs 1 more mana. From the Thalia. I'm not entirely sure if this matters a ton, as looks like it's getting anti-cards. Doesn't matter a ton, as this deck I do not believe has much to do on 1 mana. Trying to capitalize on the fact that fires that you play way bigger spells, so having lower CMC cards is typically bad in these style of decks.
Yeah.
Okay. Looks like they just saw that he had to tap the extra mana, so we tap that down. Self Spirit is very good for Will to see here. Keeps his Thalia alive, keeps his other creatures alive in case he brings in any anger effects, like things that'll wipe the board. Like we just saw right here, and Selfless Spirit saves the day.
Reading trying to figure out how anger interacts, I think. And it's fairly obvious to me as a judge. I think Caleb was reading it just to make sure that it didn't have some weird clause about indestructibility doesn't work, but there's no Soulscar Mage in play, so it's not a real board clear. It's not an immutable board clear, rather. It is a real board clear. She's not an immutable board clear.
I got just a cast of Brutal Cathar here. No targets. Just trying to get to the board and swing fast. So Caleb missed land drop notably last turn, so if he is on fires right now, he's just really strapped for finding 5th land or finding removal spell for Thalia. Looks like he has found. He paid 1 for the tax,
Yep.
so he's got 0 into X right now.
And then now he's going to follow that up with yeah. He is in fact running the Cleansing Wildfires to blow up his own lands and ramp and draw a card.
It does that much +1.
Yeah.
So that's what they're checking, I think, right now.
I believe so. I'm gonna. They're good. I'm gonna addressing. We have been muted for some amount of time, and I really hope it hasn't been a while.
That's the technical difficulties back then. We were muted for a hot second. Looks
We don't know for how long. We would like to apologize to all of our viewers. Sorry. Probably my fault.
Yeah. It looks like Caleb does go down though. He does Will did find two power creatures to play on that turn in order to crew the chariot and get in for 1 pass lethal. So prediction.
Who's the outcome? It was Will. Don't show this again. It is Cocoless because he doesn't own Cocos and wasn't able to get his hands on Cocos beforehand. I looked through it. It's mostly I think it's 3 Skyclave, 2 Brutal Cathar. He's got 3 Spell Pierce, 2 or 3 Ledger Shredders, 4 Thalias.
He has some number of Reflector Mage.
Mm-hmm. 4 elves. It's either 4. I think it's 4 elves, maybe 6 elves. 3 or 4 copies of I think it was 3 copies of Voice of Resurgence. Might have been 2 though. Sideboard he has a bunch of 2 ofs, Rest in Peace, Archon, Runestone, Aether Gust, Lavinia, Azorius Renegade, Mystical Dispute. I think that's almost all of them. There's one that's a one of, and I can't remember it, but it's probably Wandering Emperor, knowing him. So I think we might have time to see if we can sneak another match in, depending on how things are going. So I'm going to run out to the floor really quick and leave everyone in your hands here.
You guys are in good hands. Yeah. You got me holding the fort. There was a pretty large Pioneer tournament that happened this week, but this past weekend. I hope maybe we'll see some people on some of the decks that made the top 8 of that. I believe what took it home was Is It Phoenix actually, and the second place runner up was actually the Mono Green Devotion, Devotion/Storm, some people call it. That we actually saw a good handful of last week, but Caleb, our resident Mono Green player, doesn't seem to be playing it this week.
Yeah, I think he just decided that he was probably going to run into a bunch of hate because of I don't know. Yeah, he's back here. We can ask him. But really quick, I have an update. We are not going to be having another match coming up on camera because there's only one match that's still running, and they're in game. They're pretty far into game 3 already. Was Aquino versus Morty.
Okay.
And he was on Marty. Marty. Ian always pronounces it funny. Versus Marty, and he Green Storm.
The green white player from last week was Anthony Shaw is his name.
Oh yeah, he's not. Yeah, he was not. He's not here. He's not here tonight, unfortunately. But we're not gonna have another match because Aquino and Marty are in their nearish to the end of their game 3, so we're not gonna be able to get them on camera. So Caleb, what prompted you to switch from one monocolor big stuff deck to another monocolor big stuff deck?
Mono red is a lot worse. Mono green feels like it's a little pricey sometimes. So I wanted to try something new.
And bad?
It's not bad.
You just said a lot worse, so I assume that means bad.
Well, compared to mono green, a lot of decks are a lot worse.
Sure, that's fair. So we also have our victor from last round, Will, here. What prompted you to build this terrible not Winota anymore deck?
I have a pile of Naya cards that aren't playable anymore. So I build a pile of blue cards that are still not playable.
I don't know, you seem to do pretty well against the mono red fires deck.
Yeah, are really annoying. And my mono bone pressure hands.
Yeah. Glad we didn't end up we weren't able to find the Cocos to cut them. Cut a Thalia for that. You would have had one fewer Thalia.
Coco would still probably be pretty good though.
I mean, not necessarily better than that Asika's Chariot in that exact situation, but like I think across all of your matches, it would probably end up being better than the Chariot.
Did not deal with Chariot.
Yeah, I know. Well, you also didn't see it, so you wouldn't have run with him.
Do you have anything in the board like a Braid to deal with things like Chariot?
Oh no, my only board is 2 angers.
Like
everything else.
like the entirety of your board, or
I only run 2 chariots.
yeah, also that. So.
I mean, Braid's multi-purpose. It hits good creatures and
Yeah.
animals.
You saw what I sideboarded and it kind of fanned it out.
Yeah, Lavinia and
Yes. Yeah, I was mentioning between because since I saw your thing, I was like, oh yes, you showed me your sideboard. I was like, oh yes, I know he has Lavinius to bring in here that he was originally planning to use for the Lotus Field matchup, but big brain knowing he's gonna face the Fires round 1.
He has played against the deck before, so give him a slight advantage.
You have? When have you played against that before?
Many moons ago.
a couple good players in this shop, King of Ponies. We got Will, who just played this last one, who actually won the modern 5K in
The Energy 5K in Minneapolis. Yeah.
Yep, in Minneapolis. And one of our players who we saw in Black Red mid-range last week actually placed top 16 in modern this past week in Energy as well.
Other than that, we're all kind of terrible for the most part. Especially this Nick guy. He just plays Jund and Titan for whatever reason.
You're not a Titan player unless you run a card because it's come up once in 1,000 games.
You would know. You are a true Titan player. That's what you took down the energy with.
Radiant Fountain comes up, trust me.
Against
I
Burn.
I cut it.
That's really one of main deck with
Probably message comes up once in 1,000 games. Like, this is me. I run it.
Hey man, the ability to make colorless mana is non-zero useful against decks running Thalia and Chalice of the Void. Hey, hold on a second.
It always
So just me, mostly me. But yeah, specifically,
so that crumbling vessel is only good because the dream plan of going perfect 6 lands off of a swing with Titan, and that crumbling vessels being the Boros garrison in that situation with Dryad play.
gotcha.
Get the Valakut triggers.
the dream scenario.
Yeah.
It comes up, trust me.
Well, I mean, like you said, 1 in 1,000.
I did 100% do that to somebody over the weekend. So
Yep.
Titan is okay. I understand you might have some bias given Nick's opinion, but like, it's okay. Deck like hard loses to 4 Leonin Arbiters, so I don't know.
Leonin Arbiter. Huh? I think a Leonin Arbiter.
Yeah, you beat 1 Leonin Arbiter.
Colossal Dreadball kills.
4 Leonin Arbiters?
Colossal Dreadball is better than all.
It's not better than 4 Leonin Arbiters.
Muscle Dreadball.
I'll just double strike.
Yeah, you're right. All right, I think we're gonna take a short break here, really quick. Hopefully, we'll be able to get round 2 up here in just a couple minutes. So we'll be right back. Not even a particularly long break. We're coming back. Just a few seconds there. We're already coming back. We're getting ready for round 2 here. We're gonna have Nico on Green White Angels versus Michael on Is It Phoenix?
Michael's more than likely on the Phoenix list that won the event. I'd be pretty surprised he didn't have it together the last couple weeks. I'd be pretty surprised if he picked a list that wasn't the one that just won. That one actually is pretty interesting, and notably, the typical blue red Phoenix you've probably seen around have only had 4 delve spells. This list opted to go up to 6 delve spells. You have 4 treasure cruisers and 2 temporal trespass. And to alleviate the fact that you have a lot of delve cards in your deck, they incorporated 4 copies of strategic planning to fill the slot of expressive iteration.
All right. Well, I don't know if I have no idea if Aquino is actually going to be on that list or not. I think this might be the deck he played because I know he was also at the
Yeah, he played.
right?
He played. Is it control? This
He played
weekend.
Is It
So if he's switching to,
the Phoenix, it's probably the list that did take down.
yeah, I would
Is
assume
it-
that he would on that one.
Okay, that would make sense. Like Nico's playing. He has I believe he has a signed playset of original Lilianas. Nico does. When we were at Gen Con, he got Steve Argyle to sign, and that playmat is also, you can just barely see it in the corner down there right above the Ultra Pro logo.
Yeah,
Is signed
on
by
the black section.
yeah, is signed by Steve Argyle, but I know his Lilianas that he has for the junk deck he doesn't play anymore.
All right, there with him.
are signed as well, and I think didn't Steve Argyle also do one of the arts for Blood Red Elf, the original? I think
He did the promo,
the promo Blood
the
Red Elf.
F&M promo.
All right, but then Nico also I think got those signed as well. So,
Those are very. I really appreciate that. It's one of my favorite arts in that deck.
yeah, I mean you could play Steve Argyle Trident, maybe sort of. I don't actually know how many cards he's done, but I think a lot of them are like red, green, black. So I mean he definitely fits the color scheme.
Taking the shock. More likely leading them. More than likely leading on a consider or
I mean,
uh,
is there any other?
he could be holding bolt spell for if he leads on turn one dork. Some versions of angels do lead dorks in order to hit faster cocos and things like that.
Gotcha.
Let a shutter on 2. That's where you want to be. Bishop of Wings could be an annoying card for him to deal with right now. It'll just be a big 1/4 that gets in his way. Oh, looks like he's got Righteous Valkyrie. That's probably one of the better ones here. It's the more easily bolted of any of the creatures that they have. To turn on things like Fire Impulse, you just gotta cast 1 spell here and it'll get there. And if you cast 2 spells that aren't instants of sorceries, he'll get a Shredder trigger as well.
Well, it's just 2 spells in general for Shredder.
Yeah, so if you
You
get the spell if any of them were non-creatures. So if you played 2 creatures and didn't have it, you'd have to draw pitch 1.
Yeah, but if he is able to find a land for another spell here, he can potentially Fiery Impulse just off the. Oh, looks like we're gonna see a Lightning Axe, based on what I see there in the
If
hand.
he has Lightning Axe and a Phoenix in hand, that'd be pretty good for him here.
Discarding.
A Galvanic Iteration looks
Okay.
like.
I mean, that card has flashback, right? So not a, not a
Flashback
big
for
loss.
3. It's only a 1 tax to play it for flashback. Yeah, I do see the strategic planning here.
Okay, so this is almost definitely the list from
Yeah,
this weekend. Okay, cool.
I will say he's using in my opinion, the Lightning Axe a little flippantly. I feel like a lot of the creatures in the deck have way more than.
Sorry about that, folks. Just,
Yeah, so
had an quick announcement we had to make.
he did fire. I will say he did fire it off pretty aggressively. There's a lot of 4 toughness creatures in this deck that your burn spells typically do not remove very well. So Lightning Axe on the 1/2 that turns into a 2/3 next turn.
1/3. It is a 1/3.
Oh, 1/3.
Yeah, they are. It is both 2 mana 1/3s.
Okay, so it would have grown out of the range. So I don't hate the choice. But
Well, it would have taken a couple turns. Lightning Axe does hit for 5. So your opponent would have to have made 2 angels this turn for it to matter. It looks like putting 2 lands in the bin there for Michael.
Treasure Cruise, very good.
Treasure Cruise.
He does trigger his Shredder here. He should have to do that before he resolves his cruise.
but he needs to finish paying for it first. So
Correct.
yep, and there's his trigger on the Shredder.
Drew an Arclight
Oh.
Phoenix. That's exactly what you want.
Well, I mean, I think you'd like to maybe have another spell here, but
Well, he hasn't played Land Drop yet,
oh, okay, yes, that is true.
so he can draw 3, play land, play Consider or Opt or whatever you.
There's that land drop.
Yep, and he just needs another 1 drop, and he gets a Phoenix in here. And Phoenix notably trades with Resplendent if his 1 drop isn't burn spell here. So you're pretty happy to trade with any of the creatures if it's a 1-for-1.
Oh no!
Unfortunately,
one
didn't hit
mana
one.
spell.
I did see pieces of the puzzle and his strategic planning. I believe grabbed him another strategic planning.
and I think I saw another treasure cruise in his hand as well. Drawn off of that recall there.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe his hand's just a little too clunky.
Yeah. Might be a little overloaded on expensive or on the more
Coco
expensive
main
spells.
phase is kind of scary.
Yeah, I mean,
No spell pierce here. He's casting it. Nico casting it pretty aggressively into potential spell pierce, but
it looks like it's gonna pay him out here. He's gonna gain some life. I mean, it's not as much as he could. He's only gonna go up to 18 if he does those 2. Because I think the other one was a Righteous Valkyrie, which,
yeah, I believe you take second Resplendent over another Righteous.
or Youthful Valkyrie, right? Not Righteous Valkyrie. That's Righteous Valkyrie.
Yeah, Righteous Valkyrie is one you do want.
Yeah, this is Youthful Valkyrie.
So he does gain 3 here.
Yeah, we mixed those up.
So he'll go to 18. Fortunately, that's not the number that you don't want to see, which is 5
Yeah.
for Righteous Valkyrie to make 4/4s.
Yep. Unfortunately, not the magic number.
I mean,
If we'd hit 2 of them,
Resplendent. Because anytime he gets 5 now, he's at the point where he will make 2 4/4s end of turn and then gain 8. And that's almost impossible to come back from.
yeah, and as soon as you've gained that 8, that puts you pretty close to that 7 over number.
Yeah.
And if we've gained 5, then we're there.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier, though, when I think he fired off the Lightning Axe a little prematurely on a less reasonable creature. Because right now you need that Righteous Valkyrie to not be in play. And he just does not have a way to remove it right now. And his opponent's going to very quickly outclass his creatures if he does not find a way to deal with it.
Here's that pieces of the puzzle we saw. That's an instant, isn't it?
It is a sorcery.
Oh, it's a sorcery.
You look at the top 5, pick an instant or sorcery from among 2 instants and sorceries, and then put the rest in your graveyard. So it's a really good way to fill up the graveyard with Delve.
I played I think 1 or 2 copies of this card back when I played Grixis Goryo's Vengeance back before back before War of the Spark, when they gave me the pig so I could play red black. Card was so bad because you just hit Emrakul and not have Goryo's Vengeance and then be sad.
So another 1-mana treasure trees. Really love to cast Ancestral Recall here.
Getting rid of everything, including the Galvanic iteration.
The deck typically plays 2, and he's not really in a position where he's trying to trespass soon, and that's typically what you're using that card for.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
So
He's already made land drop, so we'd have to have another 1-mana spell. Well, there's the opt.
What is he looking at 3 for?
He just drew. That was him resolving the
Oh.
trouble. Yeah.
He really wants Lightning Axe. Lightning Axe Phoenix here would be the best possible setup.
Yes, since he drew we know he drew. I can see he drew a Phoenix there, but I think all he got is an opt off of that. But I think getting that extra 3 is
So the Valkyrie's got 4 toughness, so it's almost assuredly going to block it.
right. Yes. So you probably just like leave the Phoenix back to block a Resplendent Angel then, right?
Yeah, you probably just hold it back so they can't go on the aggressive. You're just really scared here of like second Righteous Valkyrie or like really any creature coming in. You do ship the 4-power creature though, because it's a 4/6.
Yeah, it's a 4/6 because it's a 1/3 natural.
Yeah, so they can't double block and kill it, and even if they had a way to give it pump, if you
Okay.
it just takes the free block.
Yeah, takes 4 and the free block. Alrighty. That is interesting. And then Aquino goes to
Discard return.
Michael goes to Michael goes to end step and sorry, gotta keep annoying him. Goes to end step and gets a second Phoenix in the bin. It looked like he probably had enough spells in hand that next turn we're gonna see another. We're gonna see both of those.
It's more than likely going to come back every turn with the critical massive cards you've got.
I think that might be a brutal Cathar. Oh no, that's the
I think it's Giada.
no, that's the Lunarch veteran. There we go.
Oh, it's the
The veteran.
And then another Coco. This is very dangerous for Aquino.
Yeah. Well, and this isn't modern. There's no force negations here
Correct.
to counter this main phase Coco.
You really
Spins a treasure cruise.
you really have to hope here he does not hit multiple angels here. You really want it to only be one angel, which looks like he may have used that one.
Double Righteous Valkyrie?
Oh no.
Oh, that's so.
That will be lights out for
That's
Aquino.
12. Or that's 16 life. That puts him at 30.
This is lights out for Aquino if he grabs his 2 cards. There's no.
Why would you not? That gives your whole team +6/+6.
Looks like he's considering the Skyclave over one of them.
No. Your whole team gets +6/+6. Why would you not just take that?
Yeah, I think he's just like thinking of the short term a little bit too much.
Yeah. That's 16 life.
Yeah, it's way too meaty because you get
That's right.
1 life from the Lunar Veteran for each, and then you get
18 life.
4 from each.
4 for each other, and then also for the original.
Yeah.
So you actually get 8 for each of you get
16,
you get
17, 9.
9 life per, so
Yeah.
it's 18 life,
Yeah.
which puts you at 32. Yeah. And your whole team gets +6/+6, and you're gonna make 2 more 10/10s on the end step.
And gain 20.
Game 2. No, 30. Sorry, 60. You're gonna gain 60. Although I think your opponent's just dead.
This is what I was alluding to earlier, though, for Aquino to not spend his Lightning Axe the way he did. The Valkyrie is just a beater that you can trade with and block with and remove with other spells.
We
Good
completely,
youthful.
we completely forgot to do the
prediction.
prediction for this round. I just realized. Oops. Well,
But yeah, the youthful Valkyrie.
too late. Yeah. Yeah. Removing that youthful Valkyrie was ended up coming back to bite him in the butt there.
Yeah, I believe he really needed to find Lightning Axe on any of those turns. It would have got him 3 points, more points through. Would have stopped a lot of life gain.
Oh yes, there would have been. I mean, that would have been 8 less life.
I think him hitting double Righteous Valkyrie after the second Coco still would have been lights out, but in his scenario, you have to hope that he doesn't see 3 of them.
Means you 10 only in that case.
I think with double with Splendid Angel in play, he needs to gain not 5 ever. If you ever,
Yeah.
if he ever gains the 5, you're out.
Yeah, because you're gonna even if he then holds back and doesn't attack, he's still pushed to he gets the 2/4/4s. He's pushed to he gains 10, goes up to 24, and then he gets 2/4/4s.
Which turned to 8/8s.
Well, one of them is still only a 4/4, so he gains 4, goes to 28, and then the second one gains him 8 life and puts him to 36. And then they're both 8/8s. Yes,
Yeah.
but yeah. So yeah, that is. Yeah,
I think the Angels deck is positioned very well if the format evolves into more Phoenixes. I think it has a lot of flying creatures, a lot of them with good stat toughness to be able to block a lot of the creatures from this deck.
+2/+2 ain't nothing when your opponent's pointing damage-based removal
Yeah.
of your creatures.
And most of your creatures are already resilient to the good damage-based removal. Like Lightning Axe is the only good removal against this deck because most of the things you play that you actually care about have 4 toughness. Like some of the things that are still reasonable have 3, so you need to have Fiery Impulse to also have the Spell Mastery to even be a removal spell.
Gotcha. So I know. Super mutes everything while I'm streaming. I did not.
I will say, Nico gets a lot of options on the board that are very good in this matchup. I believe he's on 4 copies of Shaker Sanctuary, which makes it so you can't fight this deck on a 1-for-1 basis with removal spells, as they just refill the hand as you're removing them. The only way to win in that scenario is they just do a strip of lands. The other thing they have access to, and I believe he runs Archon of Emeria, which is
Yes.
you can't play 3 spells in a turn if you can only play 1.
Yep.
They also run.
Although if the first one's a removal spell, that doesn't matter.
That is correct. They also have access to Rest in Peace, which can't bring back from the graveyard if you don't have a graveyard.
Yep.
And it also
Can't exile from your graveyard if you don't have a graveyard.
you also turn off all of their delve spells and their galvanic iteration loses flashback essentially when Rest in Peace is in play. So there's a lot of really good board options for this deck as well. On top of they run Deafening Silence in their post board because they're a creature based deck and very rarely have to actually play non-creatures out. It's normally just Coco, so you're okay with your 1 spell being a Coco anyway.
All right.
And the Phoenix deck really does not have a way to deal with a resolved Deafening Silence. The best way was to Otawara it, and I believe the list that won only has 1 Otawara. Otherwise, it's other bounce spells, which the list that won actually had no other bounce spells in the base. So it's just the Otawara to deal with the resolved Deafening.
Okay. Yeah, that's not gonna.
Yeah, I hope they hit it on a Spell Pierce. That's where you're at.
What was I going to say? I forget. There was something I was going to say about. I'm just.
So more than likely going to be a Kino on the play here.
Yeah. I mean, he's not playing 8 rack. I think that's a pretty safe assumption. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. Notably, if there's Rest in Peace in play, Ledger Shredder still gets bigger.
Correct, because it just checks if the card in discard was non-land.
Yep.
Not if the card went to the graveyard.
Correct. Doesn't care where the card ends up, just that it was a non-land card.
It's also like a really good way out of the Phoenix decks to win through Rest in Peace now that they have access to Ledger Shredder, because they just make him very large while not being able to bring back Phoenixes, and they don't have to worry as much about falling flat without a threat anymore. As well as it sets up Phoenix. So Thing in the Ice was what was traditionally in that spot before Ledger Shredder came out. And the card is very good. It is a flip side 7/8, but the downside of that card is it provides 0 pressure before 4 spells have been cast. It's just
By you. Not even
you.
like your
By
opponent doesn't
you.
even help.
and it has to be instance and sorcery specific.
Yeah, well, all right. That doesn't seem like that's too big of an ask for the instance and sorcery based deck.
That is correct, but post board they end up going into a lot less instance and sorceries just due to the fact that they're bringing other ways to win because a lot of decks stop that plan.
Gotcha. That makes sense. That makes sense.
So it also becomes a lot weaker on a lot of post board scenarios. Because you're boarding things in like disdainful strokes and stuff where you have to wait for them to do something before then you can do something, as well as your curve goes up, so you're less often casting a bunch of spells all at once. So turn 1 Shaper Sanctuary is very unfortunate for Aquino to see here. It makes it so a lot of his removal is not very good. So he got a fire buff now, I believe. Looks like he's got a crackling drake in his hand. That is one of the elusive threats that they run out of this deck now, where even if they're under a resting piece, it is a very large body because it doesn't see graveyard. It checks graveyard and exile, so when they put you under a resting piece, you're still hitting for lots of damage. So like we're playing the crackling drake out. Kind of stonewalls a lot of the creatures here. Fort toughness is pretty good. Fun fact, like even them playing Fort toughness is pretty good. It's only at 1 right now, but the Fort toughness is enough to not die attacks for right now.
Yeah.
And he's gonna start doing things like pieces of the puzzle, casting more spells, and growing this guy even bigger. So he,
That thing can definitely grow right quick. There's the
doing it,
Coco.
Coco.
Yeah.
we just have to hope to dodge like double with Splendid Angel here. That's like the nightmare scenario. You do
There's
see a Skyflame,
I
which
think I see Kiata Skyclave is probably what I would go with. Because it looks like the only other things there is like a Bishop of Wings and a Deafening Silence. for
there's
permanents.
like the choice. We lose the Crackling Drake, which is unfortunate. And removal does buy us a 4/4. But unfortunately in this deck, the 4/4 is on the ground. It doesn't do much blocking anyway.
Yeah. And if our opponent's creatures get big enough, then especially that Giada with 2 up with like making things bigger.
Yeah.
If it itself grows, vigilance will be a problem.
So he plays third, 5th lands. Looks like he's gonna pieces of the puzzle. Still have 3-drop spell in the deck. Lightning Axe is a good pickup. Try is also good. I think you take double removal spell here. You're in a pretty dire straits. to
Yeah,
start
I mean,
creatures.
you need this Giada gun so that way your opponent doesn't get more ahead, and also this Resplendent Angel, but you're gonna give your opponent 2 cards to that Shaper Sanctuary.
Funnily enough, he's only removing 1 creature here.
Oh, because Fry is 2 mana.
Yeah, so
Right.
I think he hopes to. Oh, he's got a Fiery Impulse, looks like, which does remove the Giada, which is good. Hope he's got a Phoenix here. That's the best pitch he can remove. Unfortunately, he has to pitch actual spells.
Oof. Real magic cards.
Yeah. And so Fiery Impulse by his 4/4.
Give his opponent another card, but I mean, it pressures your opponent better. So, all right, that Giada ramps my opponent
Yes.
and also makes their stuff bigger. Shouldn't I just kill that since the other thing's just never gonna grow?
I think he wants the ability to have a creature that he can attack with.
Okay.
We know that he's got the other burn spell in his hand for a Fry.
Right, and that does 5, right?
Yes.
So that Giada would have to get real big.
Yeah.
But I mean, it also makes stuff bigger. Is what I'm thinking. Like,
Yeah,
I lose my immediate pressure in exchange for knowing that this is not an X5, and like my opponent's future creatures aren't also going to get bigger.
I don't hate the buying the 4/4 here.
Okay.
He cannot
That does not
as
work.
It's not a token.
Yup. That says
Says it's
non-token. And I think Akino's going to point that out to him. I complain about that enough to people that I think he's going to find that that's not how that works.
So out of Aquino here, we're probably going to see the Fry on the Righteous Valkyrie. I think that one's actually more obnoxious than the Gyata in play.
I mean, I think it has to. Well, because like also you have other removal spells like that. What is the card? You said the
Fiery Impulse?
Fiery Impulse. Thank you. You have cards like the Fiery Impulse that can still take out the Gyata. You have other cards like the Fiery Impulse that can take out the Gyata still, but that Fry is like the only thing in your deck that can remove that Righteous Valkyrie now that it's at 5 toughness.
Yeah. And you need Righteous Valkyrie is like the must answer out of this deck. It's how Phoenix loses to this deck.
As we saw last game.
We saw 3 of them, and that was a very dead Aquino.
Yeah. Turns out when your opponent gains 32 or 16 life in one turn, 18 life in one turn, when your opponent gains 18 life in one turn, you it's hard and you give all your creatures +6/+6. It's pretty hard for you to lose that game,
Yeah.
especially when they immediately die afterwards.
It gets pretty hard with the Anthem in play, but also because you're on a red-based removes. Yep.
Yep. There we go. We see that Fry on the.
Yep.
Just, this one. I mean, that's the third card this thing has drawn, and that's been an ancestral recall.
So Shaper Sanctuary for me, every time I've seen it, and when I played Angels Online, the only time I lose against decks like Phoenix when I've resolved the Shaper Sanctuary is I've drawn 8 lands off my Shaper Sanctuary.
So it's just when you flood out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I have done a lot with this deck, and it's what makes me not like the deck because there's no like card selection in it at all. You kind of just get what you draw and hope that that's good enough.
I mean, Nico's drawn one Coco, so I think
Yeah, I think
probably
he's in a
pretty
good
happy.
spot.
Yeah.
If he ever draws Cocos, King's also in a bad spot still.
Yeah. So, what do you think about like? I don't know. I guess we're playing more things. What would you think there about like not playing the Archon, or maybe not playing the Bishop of Wings, to hold up Coco?
I think the Archon's such a pivotal part of this matchup.
I guess it would have to be the Archon. I'm sorry, I miscounted how much mana is available. Not playing the Archon to hold up Coco. If you have a Coco in hand, I don't know if he has a Coco in hand.
There's the thought. I think Archon just says draw a card because it's that
Yeah.
card is must remove.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
draw a card plus your opponent discard a card.
Yeah.
So I think
Yeah. I mean, what is that on rate? 3 mana. Make your 3 mana. Your opponent discards a card. You draw a card. Is
in the event though that they don't have the removal spell, they're not doing it.
sure.
So like there's the higher upside as well.
That's fair. So, did Aquino didn't attack with his 4/4 last turn.
Yeah, it doesn't block.
So this pressure that we had intended to get
is not there.
seems to have gotten us nowhere.
Yeah. The way he played it, I think it would have been worth to just get rid of the Giada. But I don't dislike the thought of I'm gonna try to set up my clock to start hitting them.
I mean, I will note that he would have been attacked. Well,
He hit a Skyclave that would have hit him for 2 there.
yeah, I think the Gyata hit him for 2 anyway because he couldn't block it because it has flying.
Yep.
But as it has vigilance, I don't know. I didn't pay attention to whether or not his life total actually went down. All right, now here we go. Now that he has another blocker, we're seeing the attack there. Nico giving up the
2/2.
3 mana 2/2 that didn't do anything.
I will say, so the Destructor has been one of the better cards to combat this Angels decks when they have the Shaper Sanctuary go. Thinking this was really good at putting them all back in your hand, but that means they still had all those things to do. Legislator, they'll do the things once, and then it stonewalls a lot of their creatures because they don't have a lot of good removal form. It's like specifically Skyclave, and if they're on Cathar.
Which I believe we know that Nico is on at least one of those if he hasn't changed his list from last week.
Yeah. So, but the beautiful part about Voodoo Cathar, again, as its Phoenix deck, is you can remove it with a ZTV on the stack, and you never lose your creature.
Yes.
So you keep all your counters. Skyclave's a little different story.
It just makes it go away and gives you a 2/2 in its place.
If you do it with a ZTV on the stack, you
Well,
get nothing.
yes, you do get nothing. Yes. Yeah. It is
old mistake.
old O-ring template. Yeah, I think you did that against me once.
No, I did that mistake on Moto League, because I was like, I'll work like Voodoo Cathar, right?
Maybe it was somebody else then. I had that happen one time where somebody was like, I keep my thing. And I was like, no, these are 2 separate triggers. You lose your thing and you get nothing. And they're like, oh.
Yeah, it looks like Aquino might be doing the draw a bunch of lands thing. Didn't deploy anything. Could be us just sitting on a Coco.
You mean Nico? You said Aquino.
Oh, sorry. Nico might be on that plan.
I mean, I think Aquino is also on the draw a bunch of lands thing. He has 6 lands in play. He's almost keeping pace with Nico.
Aquino has to hope to find his disable stroke here. I feel like the way he's going to win this game, if he wins it.
Not have just fired off. If you have Coco there in your Nico, you should just fire it off because it reduces the odds that your opponent has disdainful stroke.
Yeah, so I think, yes, you are right. I think he's thinking either not aware that he could be on disdainful strokes in the board or not thinking that he had would have them. But I think you are correct. Whenever you're, you either wait till they do that or wait to see if they tap out because Phoenix is a deck that often taps out.
Okay.
So you might be just waiting for a window to potentially where they tapped out of their mana.
Gotcha.
Because with how much mana Nico's got, he also loses it to a Pierce. So there's more than one out right now.
What our players were discussing. I'm curious as to what our players were discussing.
I think
Seems to
I
be
think they forgot the Bishop of Wings Spirit token, and they were just talking about what. Looks like we did hit the Pierce, which is pretty good in this
also
exact scenario.
another dragon, maybe. I think it's another crackling drake over there. It's a gold card of some sort. It could be the.
I think it was a Galvanic.
You think it was galvanic iteration? Those cards look kind of similar if you're just getting a quick glance of them. So. Looks like that's going at the Giada finally. We're gonna get that off the board. Yep, there was that. Yep, was that galvanic iteration? You were correct. And Giada's dead because it takes
3. That's spell. That's right.
Definitely.
Oh, I think it's just
Yeah, I would say you just resolved that late. I guess Aquino did kind of just immediately go to pick up his card for the shredders.
It is a trigger on cast. Most people
Both of them
just let that resolve.
Most of them are triggers on cast. Yeah, but so technically Nico should get to draw before Aquino gets to draw.
Oh, on the target, yes.
Because they're both on cast triggers.
Yeah, and his being non-turn play would be on the stack first.
Yep.
On top.
Non-active play is the technical term. Thank you very much. App now.
Man, hitting with semantics.
Yeah, man. It's written in the rules. If that wasn't what it was called in the rules, I wouldn't be pedantic. But also it wouldn't be me if I wasn't being pedantic.
So we didn't see an attempt at a Coco at the end of that turn. She's gonna believe Nico's actually just on the flood out plan, which is how I said you lose with the Shaper Sanctuary to play.
I will note he has 2 Mutavaults down there. So now that he has this Giada in play, that makes any angels he casts for an entire turn.
Correct. You can just tap them. Tap them to make
2 mana. You have 2 extra angels in play for a bit. Looks like we're animating one of them with another land, with the intent of attacking maybe.
I will say, if you're Aquino here, you gotta be very scared of.
All right. So hear me out. We're leaving up the other Mutavault.
First spell. Yeah.
The Giada. So hear me out. We're casting Mutavault can animate itself.
Correct. Why not just turn sideways?
Yeah, why use the other land? And then you also have this other one chilling back here. You're obviously not doing anything with because you only have colorless mana available to you now.
Yep.
So why are we not just making this thing coming with 3 counters on it and leaving up a colored source?
I will say it could be an oversight. He could be trying to avoid getting his lands bolted and going down a bunch of mana.
Sure. Yeah, because it does have to enter. Giada is a replacement effect. Does have to enter play. He does seem to be intending to aggress. In fact. Oh yeah, because geez, those are now big. That Mutavault is a 4/4, and the Bishop of Wings is a 3/6 because that Righteous Valkyrie entered play and gained him life off of the Bishop of Wings.
Correct.
Yep. Our players are. I unfortunately don't have a good way of contacting our table manager to tell them that everything is on the level. Because I don't have any other contact information for him.
I'll just double check what all the cards do.
Yes, yeah. He is very fond of reading and rereading everything himself. So, which is never a bad thing. Never trust your opponent when they tell you a thing does a thing. Always read the cards yourself.
You're always allowed to ask for a judge.
Yeah,
if you aren't sure.
Yes. That's what we're here for.
Notably, if he draws a Coco here and he just goes to tap out 4 mana Coco, Aquino can flashback one of these Galvanic iterations, Spell Pierce to double Spell Pierce to take down.
Galvanic iteration's an instant?
Yes.
That's funny. Double spell pierce. I don't think he has a Coco though. I don't see a Coco in his hand. I think you're right about him flooding out. I think Akino's blown up a bunch of his creatures with targeted removal, and he's just ended up.
Well, I wouldn't say that he ended up in a good spot for it because he is staring at a 30
He has drawn
creatures in play.
Yeah. Yes. No. I'm not saying Akino's in a good spot, but like there are no Cocos over there, despite the fact that we have drawn a lot of extra cards.
Yeah.
It's 39 life. 4 from the Bishop of Wings, and then 5 off of the Righteous Valkyrie. And actually, that is wrong. He should have actually gained 2 more life. He should be at 41 because the Righteous Valkyrie's effect would already be applying to the creature as it entered play. They're both replacement effects.
Galvanic iteration.
Okay.
He might be doing this just to get a Ledger Charger because I'm pretty sure he's just trying to spell pierce it.
He already has.
So that's second spell. So
He actually should have 2 Ledger Critters on the stack right now. If he didn't already resolve that first Ledger Critter trigger from Nico, because Nico has cast 2 spells.
That is true.
And like I said, he should also be at 41, but that's not a significant issue. I think. I think we'll find that Aquino is just
Very dead, I think.
very close to deadness.
He does get a counter. I don't think he put the counter on it yet.
No, it doesn't
Look,
look
he pitched to the Ether Gust.
like he has. Informed. Grab my phone with me.
And Ledger Charger is a mandatory trigger, so he does have to do the one for Nico.
Yep, wait, the one, so he's already in all.
5 years again.
Okay. I think we're just resolving that at the table for you guys. The Strength of the Pride, though, is a very scary one. He does have the 0 mana one active. He was gonna Plague Wind, which is just an old card that from Hearthstone, I believe, that would wipe half the board on their side, not yours. Which is Johnny Zero does do that when you have 15 or more life, which he is at 21 over. Looks like he's going in for a fat attack. It's not quite at the point where we can start alpha striking, where he just swings with all of his creatures. Oh, looks like he's just opting to, though. He does get to eat the Giada if he so chooses, and block with the 4/4 on like a bishop. And if he has a removal, like a lightning axe for the Righteous Valkyrie, he might be able to blow Nico out here. Not a total blow. He does seem to have the lightning axe, so he can do some funky stuff where he removes the Righteous Valkyrie. Removes the Righteous Valkyrie with a block and a lightning axe, and then blocks the Bishop of Wings and removes the life gain factor off of play. He loses his Shredder in this exchange.
Because that Valkyrie's 6 power. 6 power?
Yeah, so it has 2 counters on it, and it has the 2/2.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, no, so the Shredder will survive.
Yeah, the Shredder will survive.
It's 7
Yeah.
up. Because we did get that corrected. And now we have a way to contact our table manager for.
He's gonna Aether Gust. He tapped in properly, it looks like, though. Because okay, it looks like he's
Catching it.
He's correcting it.
Which is totally fine. No information has been gained. So this is a legal maneuver. In locals, at least. Don't take my word for it. Don't do that at Angels.
Yeah, don't do that. Sanctioned events.
Well, this is technically not
Okay.
at competitive REL.
Yes.
Heck, Nick. So it's complicated. We're not going to get in.
I will say, if Aquino was planning to do all these things, I do find it kind of weird that he wasted his Galvanic Iteration on a Spell Pierce and not Galvanic Iteration Lightning Axe to get 2 cards.
I think it might be he wasn't thinking
That he'd have to.
that he would. I think it was he wasn't thinking about the fact that that was going to be a yes, King of Pwners. This is in fact
Game
2. Nico took down game 1 in a very similar fashion. There were just 2 more Righteous Valkyries in play. So it looks like he shot the land? I'm confused. Where's the no, the land's right there. He's blocking that. And he shot. Oh, okay, so he did shoot that, and then they're discussing that the righteous Valkyrie does not have enough toughness to survive between the lightning axe and the thing.
Notably, he could have eaten if he had held his galvanic iteration that turn.
He
Galvanic and
could
lightning
have
axe.
killed all three of those creatures. There,
Yeah, he could have killed the double lightning axe, the righteous Valkyrie, remove the anthem, block the land with the 4/4, and block the Bishop of Wings with your 5/7 your 5 power shredder.
Yeah. Did we know he already had Spell Pierce in hand at that time?
We did.
Okay.
We'd seen it. I don't think it was face up on the board, but we'd seen it flashed.
Okay. Because I was gonna say he might have been trying to dig for one, but I don't.
He may not have had the lightning. He might have gained the lightning axe after he may have gained the lightning axe after he connived.
That is possible.
Okay, it looks like
Did you ever get your Twitter set up?
it is not created yet. We've been talking for the thing. We didn't have a long break between speeches.
Yeah, I figured not, but I was just making sure that it didn't happen while I was out of the room or something. I can be oblivious sometimes.
Looks like scooping it up. Kino was hellbent there. It was pretty hard to come back. I do believe he connived with nothing in hand and had to discard a treasure cruise, which is just not where you want to be. On that last turn.
Yikes.
But this is
That guy on the left is bad at magic. I don't know. He won. Seems pretty good.
he did the thing that's good in Magic, which is winning. So he's at least reasonable, I would say.
Yeah, he was. He was getting close to the deck himself.
Yeah, and
Did
I funnily enough,
have
I
we-
don't
do
believe
have
we
the book? I didn't see the book, did we?
I don't believe I saw the book.
I'm confused as to what's going on. Yeah,
I
it's
will say being good at
definitely. You're right. That is. I do frequently say that is being results oriented.
I will say being good at Magic is typically being oriented around having good results though.
Yeah, this is fair.
Cards being good can be a bad thing if you're just using results based thinking, but for players being good, if they continuously do good, I think it's fair to say results based thinking is fine.
Yeah. Although I don't know. I think Logan's just memeing on us.
Oh, I do as well. I'm just getting pedantic on the.
Sure. So given the amount of time we have left, I doubt severely that we will have another match coming up because we've only got 11 and a half minutes. I'm gonna go see if either of our players want to come back here and talk about the match at all. Or do you want to go do that and I can be alone back here by myself since I'm normally the one that goes out there?
Yeah, I can take a second.
All right, I'll riff on my own. I love forcing serious commentary when I'm deaf memeing. Yeah, like I said, I was pretty sure you were memeing. Nick just wanted to be both of them will cause viewers to dip. Wow. Mean. Rude. I mean, I don't know. We're not sitting here dead air for however long is left in the match, so I think it's fine. Just because you'll leave, Logan, doesn't mean that other people will as well. You're not viewers, you're just one. Looks like did Aquino board out Crackling Drakes? Is that what he's showing he cut Crackling Drakes here? That's interesting. I wonder if that is the case. I don't really have a whole lot to talk about. I don't know. I know, maybe I'll take a trip from Indiana next week. Oh, you're gonna be, yeah, man. We're just over here in Naperville. It's not even that far, depending on what part of Indiana you're gonna be in. Assuming you are who I believe you are, I can send you the store's address in the Discord, or you can look it up on. Assuming you're King of Depths, I can easy money. Yeah, maybe. I can send you the store's address or what. Although I know there was some talk about possibility of Legacy on Tuesday next week. but we might just stick with Pioneer for a couple weeks until we actually get that schedule more sorted out. We might be switching on Tuesdays to jumping back and forth between Legacy and Pioneer because a bunch of the people that are here tonight had expressed interest in that in a conversation that was going on earlier today. So might be doing that. I was telling the viewers that we might be switching to maybe alternating between Pioneer and Legacy on Tuesdays.
Oh,
That was a conversation that was going on previously. So we might get some Legacy streams going on Tuesdays, which would be potentially very fun. I wouldn't be back here to do commentary because I'd be playing Death in Texas or maybe Doomsday. We'll see. Yeah, man, Death in Texas is a good deck in that format.
It is. I'll give you.
So those were some dummy thick angels.
Them angels be thick AF, as the kids said.
Yeah, but hitting that double resplendent angel. When we saw that, you were
Oh, the righteous Valkyrie.
right. Sorry, yes,
Yeah.
Righteous Valkyrie. Thank you. The double Righteous Valkyrie
Off the cocoa.
off the Coco. And Nick was like, yeah, he's gonna gain like 20 life, and I was like,
Yeah.
no, he's gonna gain 30 life per angel token. he's gonna gain 60. If Aquino weren't dead here, he would be next turn.
Yeah. No. It was a lot. Like I don't know if you guys can see what I.
Yeah, we also saw the Skyclave
Yeah.
too, and you were considering that. I was like,
I was like thinking about it, and I was like, this is the safe play. But then I was like, Alcaz will just kill him. And I was like, so I was like, all right, we'll try for this. And then he didn't have anything, and he went box.
I mean, I think he was tapped out.
I think he was. That's probably why I took him. Yeah.
So
Because I
would,
wasn't
like-
sure. Like, 'cause I knew he played Spell Piercers, but I wasn't sure if he played any in the main or the board. So.
Yeah. How many? You ended that game with like 2 cards in hand, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. How many of them were? And one of them was the Bounce Shaper Sanctuary.
No, I put that to the.
Oh,
It was.
You Aether Gust. Right. Okay, right. That's Aether Gust is not a bounce spell. Okay, so you had 2 cards in hand. How many of them were lands? Because you drew a lot of lands that game.
I did. I think only one of them because the other one was a broken.
That's still a lot of lands.
Yeah, and I was
You
saving.
still had all the gas.
Yeah, I was saving the brutal card. I had it since like my opening hand, and I wasn't sure if you'd play Niv, and that deck has no way to deal with Niv. So I was like,
Yeah.
right, we're saving this bad boy just in case that big lizard comes down because that's how we're gonna deal with this.
All right. So, what are your thoughts on? I think this is an interesting point. I had not considered running Niv. What do you think of Niv? Niv?
So typically in the Arclight decks, it's pretty hard to get to the 6 mana to cast that guy. And he's often like a lot of non-instant sorcery threats that aren't Phoenix tend to get shafted a little bit by pieces of the puzzle. So like,
Yeah, that's fair.
just because they'll just forcibly bin them all the time. So it gets really hard to run non-early game threats that you get to go, oh, I have it in my open, I deploy this early, and then they will just get binned as I go.
Gotcha.
But Niv is a messed up magic card. Typically,
Yeah.
players untap with that card, they win the game.
It sure is.
Yeah. I know that card makes waves even all the way out to CEDH. Although I think it's just out to CEDH realistically.
But yeah, I wasn't sure actually if he was like because I saw the one Phoenix in game 1.
Yes.
But I wasn't because like every other time I played him, and he's always blue red control. But like
Yeah,
I know
those blue red
iteration
control, yep.
had like been banned. So I wasn't sure if he full switched or not.
Yeah.
So I figured I'd play it safe just in case. Because I was like, man, I was thinking about it. I was like, do I just get rid of the shredder here? Like, do I hang on to this? And then I was like, my brain is of course like, if I get rid of this, he's just gonna play Niv the next turn, and I'm like, I'm gonna rage, but it was fun. And I did mess up when I forgot Skyclave is non-token.
Oh yes. Yeah. I saw that and I was like, well, he's gonna learn.
Yeah.
That Skyclave, that he's going to learn of my small amount of pain.
Yes.
That Skyclave is not, in fact, the most busted magic card ever
Correct.
printed.
Right.
Because if that card did say non-token,
I can hit Cauldron, please.
why would I? Yeah, Cauldron would be worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not gonna lie. But also, why would I play Flicker Wisp?
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
I mean, all right, no, not ever, because Flicker Wisp can still flicker my huh? Oh, I was gonna say it can still flicker my Skyclaves.
Yeah. I was like, I'm never gonna do this again. This is our one time we learned.
I mean, it was a 3-mana 2/2. You were ahead.
And I used it to block the token and
Keys.
you sure? I'm pretty sure.
Oh, missing keys. Mike's keys are missing.
Michael.
You
sure you didn't actually pick it up?
I mean, double check your stuff anyway. Okay. Sorry, give us just a second. Oh, I guess we're good. Never mind. Yeah. Yeah. So, there's a guy I know from. I'm pretty sure that's a guy I know from another Discord.
That's
Yeah.
I mean,
It's apparently going to be nearby.
damn dumb. So,
Oh no, he's talking about coming to play next week.
yeah.
saying you guys are easy money.
Oh my god. I mean, hey,
You gotta bring your A game and play mono green storm next week. There's a guy that's gonna come and steal your money.
stealing our money?
Yeah, man, he's gonna come steal your money.
You can't do that.
He can. If he beats you, he can.
What?
He's gonna come kick your butt.
Who is it?
It's the guy
I'm ready.
from another place.
I'm ready. I'm gonna beat him up. Steal his money.
Please don't actually do that.
You just told me he was gonna beat me up.
No, I just said he was gonna steal your money. He's allowed to. He's coming from somewhere else.
Yeah.
So we've got just three and a half minutes here left on the round timer. We're gonna take a little break here. Give us Nick and I both a little bit of a chance to rest our voices and stretch our legs. We'll be back at you in about 3 minutes. See you in a bit. Alrighty. Well, looks like we're coming back to you now with our third and final round here. Between Nico on Green White Angels and Will on Bant Noco. I'm, as always, Robert Brinker, Jam Stoneforge on Twitter. One of your hosts, and joining me here is Nick Peterson.
Not yet on Twitter.
still a sane person so far, even though he is slowly going into his descent into madness. Actually, remember to do a prediction this time. We're gonna just do that and put in Nico and give our viewers 5 minutes to predict whether or not they think which of these green white X probably should be running Coco decks is gonna win.
I will say, with both of them being on Sky Clays and Kothars and stuff, there's gonna be a funny jumbling of creatures going back and forth under each other's creatures.
So Nico might not know that Will doesn't have Coco. Oh, Runestone's symmetrical, never mind. So Will might bring in Runestone because Coco pulls the cards out of your library. So he has at least one sideboard card for this matchup, but I think that's probably it. Unless he wants to like bring in mystical disputes.
I think three.
I think he might also have a wandering in, so he might have that.
If he has Pierces in the board, he'd probably bring in Pierces.
Oh yes, I think he might also have another Pierce or two in the board as well.
Yes.
I think he has one Pierce in the board. I'm not sure about it. Who would you say? I can't vote because it's on my account. Who would you say is favored in this matchup? Good sir. If you had to pick one.
I think it's pretty close, but I think the addition of Reflector Mage can make Will come out with a fast and try to take it from him.
All right. There's no way to do additional points. Once you've, what are you doing? Oh, once you've selected once, you can keep clicking. Yeah, there's a custom option. There's a custom button at the bottom when you're initially doing. There you go. You just put them all in. It's just making it super heavy in one side versus the other. Wow. This is a double Coco hand for Nico. You can see, yeah, there's double Coco, and Will has just spellbindered that Skyclave right there. So this is, I mean, yeah. And looks like Nico's hand is his hand now triple Coco? The third Coco I just saw in there. I think it's triple Coco.
That's pretty interesting.
That's gonna be rough.
You really want to find a way to remove this.
Yeah, so you can start pressuring. Yeah,
start pressuring and prevent this Coco from putting in a bunch of higher power creatures.
I mean, the one that's just an elf. That's not gonna help. The one upside of this is that because they enter at the same time, they don't see each other for Jigio.
Yeah.
So there is that. The one downside of this is that my opponent's about to cast 3 Cocos. And I know about 2 of them.
Yeah, the first Coco goes.
And like this is really the card that makes things super heavily in Nico's favor, right? If you're not able to pull out, if you don't also have Coco, you're just gonna like, you don't have the super jump ahead that Nico's got here.
Looks like he's gonna gain 4 life.
There was a Skyclave in there. He opted to not remove.
The Spellbinder's not super menacing. I think he'd rather just start his own game plan.
Sure. You do have a 4/4. So, and is it going to make an angel here?
No, you need 5 life. And
5
Bishop
life.
only needs 4.
All right. Well, that's good, I guess.
Yeah.
If good could be.
I will say though, if he hits if he hits double angel on next Coco, he does actually get to. Looks like he's just cycling the Triumph for Will. But if he does hit double angel on the next Coco, he is getting to make the angel.
Yeah.
Tap land, we're gonna eat the Resplendent with the Brutal Cathar. Gonna switch to day night. We just ship it with the Elite Spellbinder. Offer the trade for the Giada every turn. Because
I mean, I don't think you're. I think if you're Nico, you're not going to give that up. You can
especially with the life gain you have, you don't really care about the 3 that's hitting you. I think it might actually be right for Will to not attack so that the Gyata doesn't hit his life total.
Yeah, just because you have the just because your opponent has the life gain, and here's that second Coco, and
It's looking not so
Wow,
good.
is
I think
that
it's one hit.
one creature. I mean, it does look like it's a brute. Oh no, we have two because there is that second one. So
It's
looks
on
like it is a
Luminar
brute fire,
Cap,
which will be able to put that Resplendent Angel back into play.
which is pretty bad for him.
Yeah,
Fortunately, neither of these are angels, so he doesn't get the token.
he will because he's gaining one life off the veteran.
But neither are angels for bishop to. Because the bishop now triggers.
The bishop triggers, giving him 4 life, so he'll make a token at the end step because he's gained the 5.
Yep.
Which is going to gain him another 5. Fortunately, it doesn't trigger the count the previous turn. The previous turn's end step.
I'm glad it doesn't.
Yeah. Well,
would make
if it triggered on the upkeep, it would. If it triggered on upkeep and checked the previous turn, it could do. Then it would work. But then it would also be worse because then your opponent couldn't roll even on time.
You'd also wouldn't be able to deploy it and then gain life and get it on the one turn. The Resplendent. You have to wait for it to come.
Yeah, you have to pass the turn. So if your opponent has a removal spell, they can stop you. I mean, they can still stop you if they have an instant speed removal spell in your main phase, anyways.
Or they get access to sorcerer speed removal.
Yeah. Oh man, and then Nico going up to 29 here. If he finds a Righteous Valkyrie, that's his whole team's gonna be dummy thick.
I think it's looking pretty abysmal for Will here without the Resplendent Angel.
That is fair.
We still got
You mean you mean without the Righteous Valkyrie?
yeah, without the Righteous Valkyrie. Just that Resplendent Angel's already scary, and
Will seems to agree with you.
yeah, he doesn't even have to see the third Coco to know he's.
Yeah.
He's gonna show him that he had the third Coco and make him very upset that he isn't packing Cocos of his own.
Yeah, like I said, unfortunately, we weren't able to find those Cocos. Jeez, this is definitely the matchup where he would have wanted it. That those Asika's chariots are not Cocos.
Oh yeah. Seeker's Chariot's notably a lot weaker too, in decks that can't create tokens elsewhere. Seeker's Chariot was very powerful in Winota and a lot of green-red shells because they have access to Fable the Mirror Breaker that pumps out other good tokens for you to copy.
Well, he does have Voice of Resurgence. So if he gets a voice token, he can copy those.
Do it with a voice.
And he did before our event started. He was saying to me that he was I think he was joking about making it 4-color, but he was saying he wanted to get red cards in here and do it Fable. Thought we
Fable
could then
Mirror Breaker.
copy the Fable token. He could do the Fable token.
Yeah, Fable token. I think Fable token plus Fable token plus Fable the Mirror Burger plus the Seeker's Chariot is such a very powerful combo in this format that only like Winota was really able to exploit.
So, are you aware of the interaction between the actual Fable, the reflection of Kiki Jiki, and Asika's Chariot?
What interaction?
So if I copy one of my creatures with the Kiki
Oh, you
Jiki,
can make it a Seeker's Chariot one that stays.
yeah,
It's very powerful.
yeah,
What is
especially in an
also really fun-
ETB deck like this.
What's also really fun is Ob next this with the Seeker's Chariot.
Yep, that's a token.
And it's non-legendary, notably.
Yeah, yeah. And a Seeker's Chariot doesn't say creature; it just says token, right?
I believe it comes in with the casualty amount that you casualty it out with.
Yes, it would have. It would. I believe it would have remembered that. Otherwise, it just comes in at 3. It might just come in at 3 because that's the printed value on the card. But I'm not sure because
The token isn't
copies-
a card.
yeah, copies like that are weird. So it might come in at the
Cruelty.
yeah. Let's see good. So Chariot, yeah, just target token. And let's see if Nixilis can tell us an insight on what happens if you copy the token. And I don't have this all the way up. He doesn't have any rulings, so I think you might be right about that because it changes a copyable value. Yeah. So it changes, yes, because of the way the way it looks like to me, casualty is worded here. I would say that it probably does. Has starting loyalty X. Yeah, I would assume that changes. No, that's not what I meant to do at all.
Yeah, the copy.
I would assume looking at that changes the copyable value on the card. I mean, worst case scenario, it comes in at 3, which means if you sacked a small creature, you get a bigger ob, and if you sacked a big,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
gonna even out. I think.
Yeah, and I think Ob is typically better in decks that have small creatures, so I think they get the.
Yeah, because you're playing a creature before it and then sticking it on 3 with the.
Yeah, that's the goal. So typically, like Voldaren, Epicures, and Blood Type are just start to see what you're looking at.
Would you?
That's
Will leading on the dork. Nico answering right back with the portable hole. Will comes right back at him with another 2-drop.
Ledger Shredder.
It's a pretty good 2-drop. Although your opponent isn't probably going to cast. Oh, maybe he will be casting 2 spells this turn. He is going to cast 2 spells this turn, and Will get to connive. But Nico's going to gain a life.
Seeing this card discard not marked by Phoenix makes it seem like a lot less cool to me.
Will pitching Thali.
But they're pretty weak in the creature mirrors.
Yeah, your opponent only
Especially
has
when they're flying.
second ledger privilege. Interesting. I like it. Gonna connive a lot if Nico's casted a bunch of spells. That's it. As soon as Nico finds Coco, he's only casting 1 spell a turn for a while.
Until he's out of Coco.
Until he's out of Cocos, yes.
Looks like he got a Giada. He did play a land here, which normally a lot of people lead on lands. It could mean that he might not have another land. It looks like
In
that
fact,
is
he
the
does
case.
not. Wow. All right. It does have a Coco in hand, though. And looks like I think I see a Coco, a Youthful Valkyrie, a Resplendent Angel, and a Skyclave apparition over there in Nico's hand.
Funnily enough, playing the Youthful Valkyrie after the Giada instead of the other way around, because Youthful Valkyrie triggers against the counter, actually puts the same amount of counters on Righteous Valkyrie, because Giada will put 1 on it.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep. 6 and 1 doesn't change anything. Will playing a second Ledger Shredder and then just getting in here, I think, and Nico has indicated he's blocking. Okay, I thought Will might have some instant.
From what we've seen, it's very low on instant.
Yeah, I wouldn't have expected much. Might have had like a random removal spell. I didn't
It's like
remember.
we're playing a Resplendent Angel.
Oh, right, that is only 3 mana. I thought that was 4. Okay. Yeah, that'll gain him 2 life. Put a counter on that angel. Now it's the biggest thing on the board. And he's only casting the 1 spell, so. Will's Shredder's not really shredding much.
We just need to see a double turn on Will.
Oh, but there's a brutal Cathar to take that
Resplendent.
angel.
Now he's able to get in.
If he has a 1-drop, he can get in for a bunch more, maybe. Nope, no 1-drop there.
Yeah, that's the problem with I think Ledger Shredder out of decks that aren't like Earthquake Phoenix, where you have a critical mass and 1-drop. Where you're just trying to always hit 3 spells a turn, so having that deck on, and you almost always can trigger it for 2 spells.
Nico hitting that 3rd land finally, so we might see he has double Youthful Valkyrie, so we might see double Youthful Valkyrie out of him here. Instead of playing the Skyclave just for mana efficiency, because we do know he has that Skyclave, he will be able to get the thing. Although this is gonna double trigger those Ledger Shredders. He's giving Will a bunch of draws here. Nico's indicated he also has triggers. Will's like, no, minor first. Yours are ETB minor cast triggers.
Will's just flooding out.
Oh,
he's
man.
pitching all
right.
Oh, he hit
All right,
one.
we got a non-land on one of these boys.
Okay. Funnily enough, both Righteous Valkyries have the same amount of counters.
Because of how Giada interacts.
Because the second one comes in with 2 1/1 counters,
are
and the other
we
one gets the 1/1 counter for it entering.
Getting those counters on that. Righteous Valkyrie.
Yeah, it should be.
Yep, there we go. All right, he's picking them up.
2
and
counters on each.
Will has indicated. Yep. Yep. I think Nico's explaining to Will how Righteous Valkyrie works.
It's such a funny combination that you always just get the right amount of counters, even if you play them in the wrong order.
Yep.
Like, there's no like particular wrong order because how Giada works.
No. And Will's like, oh, all right. I guess that's how that happens. These Valkyries are now bigger than all of Will's Ledger Shredders. I think our players might be continuing to discuss this. Okay, looks like we're good. Don't gotta send anybody any messages.
So I think Will might be in a position. Okay, it looks like he might Reflector. Oh, Elite Spellbinder.
Oh, that will
Take the Coco before he can play the land. Oh, he instantly pokes at the Coco.
It does not even care about his opponent having that right, getting that Resplendent Angel back. Just does not want him to cast Coco. I mean, is that right?
I think.
Like, your opponent's gonna take a Resplendent Angel back.
I don't think there's any.
I mean, I guess
it's
it's odds on he's gonna hit if he hits the land, he hits like if he doesn't hit the land.
It's just hard to not want to leave the best card in their deck available to them when you see.
Well, I mean, it's still available. It just costs less. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
and now we're
first
seeing
time
this.
it's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean now it fortunately Nico's only gaining 4 life here. not the full 5 to make things
Coming
go
in with a
bananas.
lost counters,
But-
everything else.
Yeah, that is there are 3 counters on each of those angels.
Yeah, I with only having 1 card, I don't see how this deck, especially in a no Coco world, can come back from these this kind of deficit.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is gonna be a pretty short match. We might actually get to see somebody other than these two on camera. Might this one's interesting. Nico with no attack.
I think he's just respecting the multi blocks a little too much.
I mean, so your opponent has 5-8 power in play.
Selfless Spirit's actually huge for him to get here
Phenomenal.
because it actually allows him to block for a whole turn on unfavorable blocks.
Yeah. Wait, so each of those righteous Valkyries or youthful Valkyries is 6 toughness. You get to I guess you only get to kill one thing. Since they're only 4 power in exchange for one of them, but you get for a while. I don't know.
I think he's playing a little reserved, to be fair, but yeah, this is just nightmare scenario, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, I think now Nico has
Like infinite good attacks.
no reason to not just send all of my 3 counter creatures at my opponent straight into my opponent's domain, right? Yeah, I like that.
He might just make 1 block each on each of the things, or 1 multi block, and then
One, yeah, get rid of the Resplendent Angel and then give up the Selfless Spirit to protect.
yeah,
We'll put that there. Yep. And then
you just take the 4, and you
Yeah.
lose only the Selfless Spirit.
yep. Looks like
Or it
Nico's.
does damage, but it doesn't matter particularly much.
You know, maybe your opponent decides to not sack their Selfless Spirit because of the way you ordered the damage.
That is true.
You do order the blockers before you
Assignment.
before damage.
This Chariot, not particularly powerful here either, but
I mean,
they make blockers that don't block anything that's attacking.
but it's a threat on the ground that your opponent might just ignore.
I will say, if we do remove the Skyclave Apparition, we make a 3/3 that we can then copy to make more 3/3s with the Azikas. That's a non-zero amount of value.
It's better than making a 2/2.
That is correct. Unless it makes a 0/0 counter, because it comes with a 0/0.
It is statted XX.
Oh, stated XX? Okay. I wasn't sure if it made a 0/0 with full moon counters.
It's oh god, that card would be so much worse. Because then like Yawgmoth in any deck with Proliferate would be able to just would be able to modify the counters on it. Oh no. No
Harden
thanks.
scales.
Harden scales, yeah. I mean like it wouldn't be like a lot worse realistically.
Yeah. No.
But like the fact that the power and toughness is fixed is I think very important. There is a non-zero number of instances for that one. Putting a Bishop of Wings into play.
He is respectful of the thick angles.
Yes, not attacking. I think that's correct. We got to be able to protect our. How are we getting counters on Giada here? Why are there counters on Giada?
He played a new Giada, it looks like, and he kept
Yes, I understand. Okay, yes. Cool. Will should have connived. It looks like he didn't. Maybe.
Did he only? Oh, did he play 2 things,
Yeah, Nico cast 2 spells.
or did he just Coco?
No, there's no Coco. Or maybe he did Coco.
No.
Yeah, I think that's a Coco in the bin there.
Okay, so it looks like he got the Giada.
So he hit, yeah, so he hit Bishop of Wings. He hit Bishop of Wings, Gyat off the Coco. Yes, sorry, we looked away.
I'm not sure what Will's trying to draw into here. It's looking pretty bad for him.
Yeah, and he's just taking the damage down to 4. I don't think you have any outs if you're Will.
The only thing I could think of is if he goes Selfless Spirit into.
Voice of Resurgence. There's a token to copy.
If he hadn't lost his voice, his Selfless Spirit.
Yeah.
I could see decks because I've seen Angels decks actually go back and do it in the past as well with Linvala and Selfless Spirit.
Yeah.
Just run Supreme Verdict, and then go Selfless Spirit, one-sided Supreme Verdict.
Oh, you know what? That might have been one of the cards in the sideboard that I forgot about. He might have Supreme Verdicts in his side, but that would be weird. But I wouldn't be too surprised. He's not the most aggro of aggro decks. He does have the Asika's Chariot to be able to still for your opponent.
Because Nico looks like he's on 0 cards. If he does find that, if he like makes his multi-block here, does find it, he gets a 1/1 token in return. And if he finds any 2-power creature with it, post, he can play the 2-power creature, which makes the 2/2 a creature. The voice of resurgence token's a 2/2. Cruise the chariot, attacks, gets another voice of resurgence token. That's like a reasonable way to come back into this game.
Looks like Will sending in the throes of death, sending the whole team over to Nico.
Sending an Alpha Strike, making another 2/2.
Nico's blocking 2 damage.
He's trying to make sure he's not got by any combat tricks here.
All right, and I think Will's out of cards in hand. I think he has 6 lands in play and 0 cards in hand, and is just dead. And he's just trying to just put damage on his opponent.
He might want to get his opponent a little less than double his health total before the end of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, that Giada doesn't even need to attack to a tap, and yet Nico still taps it. All right, so that'll be Nico taking down our events this week. Our pioneer, he's our pioneer champion for this week. I will choose the outcome. It is Nico who did the winning. I'm sorry to everyone who lost their channel points. We got 30 minutes almost left here in the round. I'm gonna see if we can maybe go find us another match or do you want to go? Keep it.
Yeah, I can take you.
Go take a look and see if we got another match. Also see if Nico or Will want to come back here and talk about things and stuff. Oh wow, Will put it -14 according to our table manager out there. So I don't know. I don't really have a whole lot to. There we go. We're getting to see Will's sideboard here on camera. Damping Spheres. Oh right, and then he also has a Narset and an Ashiok in his sideboard that I had forgotten about. And yes, Hearse. It was Hearse. The gold card I was forgetting was Dovin's Veto. There you go. He's missing out on Cocos in that deck. Definitely not helping. That Asika's Chariot being a Coco probably would have been real good. Fortunately, we were unable to get Will some Cocos. Maybe next week if he comes back comes back with this deck. If we're on Pioneer again next week, we might see him running it back with Cocos. But unfortunately, our energy Minneapolis champion Will Kowalczyk falling to Nico. I don't know his last name because I forgot what it is. I genuinely forgot it, and I knew what it was at one point. I just don't know. It's like I don't know if we've got another match coming. Maybe Nick's standing out there talking to our channel host James. So, I wanted to see that. Okay. Players cleaning up. Maybe one of them will come back here. I'm gonna step away for just a minute. I'll be right back with you guys here in just a sec.
Angels did it again. We ready? 3-0. In case there's another round. I don't think there is. But we got there. 3-0. Clean body. Angels in the double box. It had to be done.
Back here with Nico, our victor for tonight. There were only 8 people, so there's only 3 rounds.
All right.
So congratulations. You're since you're you just beat Will. You were the last 2 undefeated.
Nice.
That means you are the winner. You did the win.
I did the win.
You did the win.
Anonymous, the kids.
Please never do that again. You are far too old for that.
Yeah, you're right. As of last 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
How old are you now?
I'm 30 now.
Oh shit.
I know.
I forgot to say happy birthday.
That's
Happy
all right.
birthday.
Thank you.
Congrats on living for 3 consecutive decades.
Thank you. I bought some catchers. I think it's official now.
Oh man.
I know.
Just old dad man shoes.
Stuff. Exactly. They're comfortable.
Yes, Adam. We are in fact getting an interview with Nico.
Yeah.
So thoughts on that
Yeah. So,
complete and utter thrashing?
I mean,
It's like the best way to put that, really.
yeah. I mean, I 2-0'd every round, so
Okay,
that's pretty sweet.
neat.
Round 1, I played Spirits, and not gonna lie, that matchup's a little frightening. Just because it can get out of hand with all the removal and 1-mana counter spells and all that other
It
stuff.
doesn't actually, Spirits doesn't really have anything in the way of removal. It's just bounce spells.
It's got like the Witness Protection or whatever, the 1-mana murder, basically. Turns off all my creatures.
he doesn't.
Oh, well, all right. I was afraid of that.
Yeah.
Turns
I
out
mean, hey, better to play around it and your opponent not have it than not play around it and your opponent have it.
Exactly.
Better to not get blown up.
Exactly.
So yeah, I happened to look through his deck. He was doing playtest games against Ian.
Okay.
And I was playing a little bit when Ian was helping out customers. And I was looking through his deck, helping figure out sideboard and stuff for their like playtest games.
Sure.
And he did not have a single witness protection for what I saw.
Okay.
So I'd like even his only removal spells would have been bouncing, Brazen Borrower.
Sure.
And that's from what I've been told. That is apparently pretty standard, honestly.
Yeah, I think they played 2 or 3 or something like that.
I think he might have been on 4.
Oh, okay. I guess without the Witness Protection.
Yeah, but he also didn't have the 4th Curiosity.
Oh, okay.
So that might have also modified things.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, because of that though, there was no removal, no bouncing, nothing like that. I basically had free reign to just rip creatures into play.
Yeah, you go bigger than him pretty quick.
Way big. Yeah.
Yeah.
And them Angels be dummy thick. And then round 2, we played.
Sorry, I'm gonna stop you real quick just to give our viewers a quick update.
Yeah.
As you can see, viewers, we have a bonus round coming up here. It looks like yes. Okay, so it's gonna be Caleb on whatever he was on. I've forgotten now. Mono Red Fire Invention. Thank you. And this is actually another person. Marty is also playing green white Angels. So lots of green white Angels content tonight. We might as well just made this a green white Angel stream.
Listen, that's all it needs to be.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I mean, the deck is great. It's a lot of fun. It's like some of the most fun Magic I've actually had playing in like a long time.
That's good. That's good.
Which is why I continue to play it.
Okay.
Which makes sense. But
yeah. I mean, yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the one Magic thing you consistently show up to.
Exactly right. I like putting Angels in the you know. But no, yeah, and then game 2 we played Blue Red Phoenix. That was
yes. I think we
covered that one. I think.
Yeah. You were on match against you on camera against Michael.
Yes, Senor Michael,
Mr. A, as he likes to
be known,
likes to show up on the companion app.
Yes, he's seen Reservoir Dogs one too many times, but no, yeah. So that match went well, obviously. And then
the double righteous
Valkyrie into the new and
just
then
dead.
Yeah, just
dead. You were gonna be at 4. You were gonna be at 96 life.
I was gonna be a lot of life
if you hadn't attacked for some reason.
Yeah,
and I didn't kill your opponent, or he survived somehow, like he just randomly had a fog.
Yep.
In his blue red deck. you were going to be at 96 life.
Yeah.
Because you were going to make 2 10-10s.
Oh yeah, they were gonna be dummy things.
Yeah.
So
Very, I believe the technical term is very dead.
very dead,
Very dead.
super ultra mega dead.
Yeah.
But right, so that right, obviously as we saw that one went well, and then game 3 here against my boy Squilliam.
Yeah.
I had no idea what he was really doing. I was kind of scared every turn just because I was like waiting for something that was just gonna just throw me out of loop.
Yeah.
Thankfully it never came.
The unfortunate lack of Coco.
Yes.
He showed me his deck before the event,
Mhm.
and we tried our best to locate him some collected companies.
That's
But we didn't want to give away anything to anyone who was participating in the event.
Mhm.
So the number of people we could ask for collected companies was limited to 3 people.
Sure.
Myself, our other commentator, Nick Peterson,
Mhm.
and Ian, our TO.
Mhm.
So unfortunately, none of us were able to locate Coco's because apparently I put them in my trade binder, my modern Staples trade binder, and left that at home.
Ah.
I knew I left that at home. It was just I didn't realize that I had put them in there.
Ah.
So we ended up with him
Banned
unfortunately.
Coco.
Yeah, which is literally what it. I don't know if you saw. It was literally what
I
it
did,
showed up
yeah.
on the on the thing. Is what Fluffy put him down as his Bant Noko.
Yeah.
Those that the I will say his Asika's chariot that he had
Yeah.
did come in clutch in one game, sort of
Okay.
against the Fires deck, actually helping him push for some extra damage.
That card
to make
is
sure he-
still, even without Winota, is ridiculous. So-
Yeah, I mean, I know we have Will back here with us now, so he's gonna join in our discussion here. I know Will, you were telling me earlier you were gonna maybe get some red cards up in this deck. Are you? And I called you a madman. I did call you a madman because 4 color in Pioneer where you don't have fetch lands.
I need my mana conflict.
Are you? You're gonna play 4 color.
I'll attempt it.
You mad lad. You are
5 color exists. Why can't 4 color?
Yup.
Nib does
You know, sure. Yes, it does.
I even play one Sparta's lounge.
Headquarters.
One of them. the band one.
The band
Yeah,
triumph.
the Band's Triumph, the one that's already in your colors.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, just
I mean, I
okay.
can
So why? So I guess what I'm really wondering is why would you not just cut the blue for just being red instead?
I like the sideboard cards and Reflector Mage. It's a hot card.
Yeah. Okay.
So is Spell Color.
Yeah.
That's what
I do want to try Spell Quell.
Yes. He was not on
That
spell.
card existed today.
Especially
Yeah.
because right, it's like especially if you're a creature deck and the
Cocoing. Let me tell you what. Cocoing into spell queller is a drug in which one can get addicted.
they go Supreme Verdict, you're like Spell Color.
I literally threw this deck together with most of what I had from Winota.
Yeah, that was something we were talking about actually. Nick and I were talking about in round 1 was the fact that you
Winodalus Naya.
the fact that you refrained from appearing last week as you had very little time to prepare a deck to replace
he was
now banned Winota.
he was in mourning.
Yeah, you were in
Take a day off.
Blue White Control with Yorion at the energy.
Oh no.
Died on turn 3 to Mono Green. So
Mono green to go bonk
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
You could have played my mono green deck today if you wanted to.
it was already Mono.
Remember if you gave it to her?
I just wanna direct your gentleman's attention to the screen here.
Yes, today.
where we can see this match going on. This game 3 between Green White Angels and Mono Red Fires. Caleb on turn 3 here, slamming the slamming the fires
So he went
into
3-1.
into Chandra, Torch of Defiance, killing the Bishop of Wings. Although Marty's answered back with the Skyclave. And now Caleb's gonna make himself a 4/4.
Yeah.
This is something you have experience with, giving your opponent 4/4s on an empty board. And or an empty board.
They don't have the
Yes,
token.
Marty does not. Marty doesn't have the token. It is
That's a sin.
The disrespect.
I usually try to keep all my tokens.
Right. Gotta maintain board state.
represent proper boards.
That too.
Properly represent boards.
That too.
I don't know. This is sufficient. It's a local. Like, what are you gonna? What?
Oh my gosh, Cavalier Flame. I'm frightened.
But yes, Adam, he did. Nico did in fact body Mr. N.
I did.
It was glorious.
It was wonderful.
Nico took play round 1. Oh, you played Spirits, right?
I played Spirits.
Just you were done real quick. It felt like.
Yeah,
It felt like. I don't know if it was actually done.
2-0 every game. So
Yeah. I mean, we saw 2 of your matches, so we know.
yeah. The first game, I think we only got it like a couple turns in game 1, and he conceded because he's just like, "There's no way I can deal with this."
Yeah,
And then
you went too big too fast.
Yeah, and then game 2, kind of basically the same.
Are you on any dorks? You're not on any dorks.
No, I play no dorks.
It's just the Giadas.
Yeah, my turn 1 is either Portable Hole or Lunar Veteran.
Okay.
Because as
How many veterans are you on?
3, I play 3.
Three.
Just because you can turn 1,
Turn 1 veteran, turn 2
two
bishop,
bishop, and
turn
then
3 player splendid.
and then game 5 make an angel.
Yeah, seems good. That was something that Nick missed initially. He was like, oh, because of the double feature version.
Yeah, the black.
So he forgot for a hot second what it was, and I was like, oh, he's gonna you put the resplendent angel in play, and I'm like, oh, he's gained 5 life, he's gonna make an angel.
Yep.
And he's like, no, he's not. I'm like, yeah, that resplendent angel is coming back into play, and there's the veteran. He's like, oh, I forgot about the veteran.
Yeah. So the veterans are really good. I also play like a 1 of Elspeth in the main, the new one from New Capenna.
The one that flips 3 drops into play. Gives them shield.
You like dig 7. Yeah, you put something permanent 3 or
I have Scryfall
3 or whatever. And
Scryfall pulled up. Give me just a minute. I'm gonna still try to sort of leave this on screen. If we maybe keep occasionally keep giving comments about what's going on in the thing instead of just talking about how amazing your deck was.
how amazing Angels is in general.
I think you got. I'm not gonna say you just got lucky, but you definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, 2-0 is definitely some degree of luck.
Yeah.
There's some degree of luck involved there.
Correct. Oh, 100%. The game is all variance.
Oh yes, I mean that's all this whole thing is. It's just luck.
Correct. I just
0 skill.
Oh,
You're just
none.
just a terrible.
We are full
I'm trying to think of what the term is. I'm thinking
full Yu-Gi-Oh
something
cards.
Lucksack.
That I mean Lucksack too. I'm in for that.
Dirty Lucksack. That's what
Yeah.
it is. Dirty Lucksack. I'm kidding, of course.
I'm not. It's all variance.
What was the card I was about to look up?
Elspeth. I don't remember what the second part was.
Elspeth. Well, conveniently, I know.
Oh.
I use Scryfall a lot at work. Because I spend a non-zero. Logan and I spend a non-zero amount of time building decks.
That's fair.
So I have to know how to use Scryfall very well. So set
New
New Capenna is
Streets
Streets
of
of New Capenna, SNC.
There you go.
You can't like type out the name. You have to do the set code. It's really dumb.
That's weird.
So the next 3. Look at the top 7. 5 mana, 5 loyalty. 3 white for legendary planeswalker Elspeth. +1, choose up to 1 target creature, put a +1/+1 counter, and a counter from among flying, first strike, lifelink, or vigilance on it. I'm guessing you're probably mostly choosing lifelink the first time around because you have a lot of things that care about that life total.
Usually, yeah.
And then the vigilance comes second.
Yeah.
Because all those other ones, I mean, first strike is nice. You might want first strike depending on the matchup.
Yeah, it just depends.
But like vigilance is
it's more often than
a lot have big butts.
Yeah.
So like you don't really care.
Right.
And you're already making it bigger anyway.
Yeah.
And then look at the top 7 cards of your library. Put a permanent with mana value 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield with a shield counter on it. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order.
Yep.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good, especially when you're a Coco deck.
Yeah, exactly.
And then -7. Make a bunch of 5. Make 5 3/3 angels.
Yeah.
Only with flying. They don't have vigilance.
Yeah.
No Sarah angels.
No, they're not terrible, but
Oh, I mean
5 of them.
15 power.
Yeah, it's
If you've got like a Giada,
Right.
maybe a Righteous Valkyrie,
it could be a lot.
or and maybe like a Resplendent, like you know, it does
the
some
Bishop of
there's
Wings.
some Bishop of Wings. Yeah, you're just like it does some stuff.
But yeah, so that's really that card's a lot of fun. I only play the 1 of though, just because I don't want to rip into it too many times with Coco.
Hey.
Speaking.
Okay, so all right, I have a quick question for you here.
Yeah.
We just saw Marty go Bishop into Righteous Valkyrie.
Yeah.
Would you that's regardless of the direction you go, that's 4 life, right? Because Bishop's a 1/4.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna gain because
you're gaining 4 either way.
You're gaining 4 either way. It's 6 and 1. All right, cool. And Marty's down to 7 here.
Yeah.
So
So the 4 definitely came into play here.
He's now back down to 5. So I think we're probably gonna see Caleb closing out our what is probably going to be our last match here. I'm thinking we're probably gonna
Yeah, Caleb's got
after
a
this
lot of
is over.
creatures.
Might talk to some people some more.
Yeah.
But we're probably gonna close out here.
Turns out Fires of Invention is a busted magic card.
doesn't even have fires in play.
Oh no.
He just went big red.
Oh yeah. I mean, he definitely went big red.
And there we see the handshake using the ability on Cavalier of Flames to give that Bone Crusher Giant haste.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So big game.
Yes.
So,
And those bone crackers are thick too. 4 3s.
Benedict comes 5 3s.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Your opponent is very dead.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah. We 15 minutes left in the round, and we got all of our. I think reasonably speaking, all of our matches are wrapped up. I don't think we have time to pull our 3rd match or that 4th match that we may have still been going in.
I believe that's the only.
That was the last match going. Alrighty. So I think we're gonna probably just call it here. I don't know if we have. Did you want to ask? Did you have any questions you wanted to make sure you asked Nico about his he 2-0 every match?
I saw that. I was actually noticing. I don't think I saw once. Book. Did you have book of results? Was he still?
I do.
I think I saw you cited.
I took them out every game.
Oh, okay.
Just because it like, especially if I'm like playing a creature matchup, like which I played every round except for Aquino, basically.
Yes.
It's like it doesn't matter because my creatures just get bigger than theirs. So
Okay.
go
Yeah.
on.
So what deck would you bring?
Keep booking.
Yeah, keep booking for.
I would try to probably book before mono green so they
Okay.
can't combo me.
Okay.
Same with Lotus Field. It kind of depends too. Like if I used to bring him in against blue red control just because Nib Mizzet is rough as well. But that's gonna really about it. Sometimes it's just nice though to have like an I win button because some people just like I scoop. Like I have no way to deal with this. So
Yeah, I mean, Field of Ruin. Yeah, didn't seem like a super prevalent card in the format.
it's like blue white.
Caleb would have been rough.
Yeah.
On fires with his field. I know he was running both fields and cleansing wildfires.
Oh sure.
So that would have been rough in that regard.
Yeah, and then usually too, like in matches like that where I see some sort of land destroy, I take them because I'm like, all right, this is gonna do nothing.
Fair.
So-
Fair. All right. Cool. I just remembered something. I don't remember. I think it was in your match against Akini.
Yeah.
There was a turn where you had 2 Mutavaults in play.
Yeah.
And you animated one of them.
Yeah.
And ended up attacking with it. So like, I don't hate it that much.
Uh-huh.
But you had the other one just chilling and that didn't do anything, and you didn't do anything. Like you animated one of them with another land, and then you had Giada in play.
Yeah, and then I played another angel after.
Yeah, to make the other one be I think it was a right.
I think it was a righteous Valkyrie.
I think it was a Righteous Valkyrie. But you just left the other one chilling.
I didn't have any other mana.
It can animate itself.
Yeah, you can tap
Oh,
yourself.
That's what I was gonna. I figured that was probably the case. Yeah, it can tap to animate itself.
Oh, okay. See, I never really.
All right, well now you know.
Now I know. Yeah.
Yeah, you could just have 2 of them. They can just tap to animate themselves.
Oh, then yeah, I definitely would have done that.
2 mana make all the angels you play for the rest of the turn bigger.
Yeah, so I definitely would have done.
All right. Well, I mean, you won. So
Yeah,
it's not like
right,
it
right.
I was wondering if there was a thing you just want to wear.
No, yeah.
Do you want us to close it out or? Okay. I think we're pretty much done anyway. Yeah. Do you have any more thoughts from our winner?
No, I mean that was again really I kind of dodged like a lot of the removal heavy matchups. So
How much there was in the way of removal heavy matchups here? We were only
Yeah,
8 people.
yeah, and there was no red black.
Low from what I've heard.
Yeah, that's usually.
Niv. Okay.
Yeah, there was no red black, and like I didn't play against any red black. I don't know if anybody else was playing it, but I dodged Eric, who was playing like Demir or mid range,
Okay.
something, and who again just played a bunch of removal, dodged that.
Yeah.
So it's like
Eric playing Jameer cards. Big surprise.
right, exactly. So Aquino being the only person I had to really worry about removal wise was kind of nice because
There you go.
I just get way bigger.
All right.
4 ship or 6
Do you have any fun?
3 in the board.
Any final messages from our street vote person? Are we going to raid somebody or?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Who's the person we're raiding? Oh, you already did. Okay, you just said that. All right, never mind. I was going to announce the name and say, thank everybody and then sign off. It's fine. That's fine. Oh, Brandon, it's Mr. Bodingles.
They say that the United Field, like,